Northern Ireland's three MEPs personify the complexities of the Brexit debate in a region is arguably set to be impacted most by the UK's European exit. Democratic Unionist do.As is a committed Brexiteer. Sinn Féin's Martina Anderson, a vocal Remainer who famously told Theresa May to stick her border where the sun don't shine. While Ulster Unionist Jim Nicholson voted Remain but now insists the democratic will of the UK electorate must prevail. As the Irish element of the Brexit process gained greater prominence at the EU summit in Brussels at the weekend, the opinions they represent will all have to be factored in the protracted negotiations. Solving the conundrum of maintaining a free-flowing border on an EU frontier has been ranked as one of the Union's three key priorities in the first phase of separation talks with the UK. The Special European Council meeting in Brussels also accepted a declaration, tabled by Taoiseach Enda Kenny, that in the event of Irish reunification Northern Ireland could automatically adopt the EU membership held by the Irish Republic. Some have interpreted as a necessarily technical statement for an event might never happen, but others, including Mrs. Dodds and Mr. Nicholson, are critical. Maybe Enda Kenny wants to see a legacy, but quite frankly he should concentrate on his own affairs, said Mrs. Dodds, wife of DUP Deputy Leader and MP Nigel. She dismisses suggestions Brexit has pushed the unification debate into the political mainstream as Sinn Féin propaganda. The vast and overwhelming majority of people in Northern Ireland, from all persuasions, actually believe that the union that matters is the union with the United Kingdom, she said. It is only Sinn Féin who wants to unsettle and disrupt. Mr. Nicholson accused EU leaders of trying to make life difficult for the UK. Quite clearly I can smell the deft hand of the Department of Foreign Affairs of the Government of the Republic of Ireland trying to play politics with Northern Ireland, he said. But the truth is at the end of the day the people of Northern Ireland will decide what their future is, not Dublin, and certainly not Brussels. Mrs. Anderson said the real significance of Saturday's summit was the three words added to the paragraph on the Irish border, and the EU's support of the 1998 Good Friday Peace Agreement. The final negotiating framework added that its support of the accord extended to all its parts. That is crucially important. What does the Good Friday Agreement in all its parts mean? Conformity with EU law, citizens' rights, free movement, she said. The EU's stance reinforces her belief. The only solution is to offer special designated status to Northern Ireland. If we don't get special designated status, we will have partition reinforced, and we will have a hard border. And we cannot be a generation brings the next generation into kind of conflict with a new frontier, or anything else that they would see as an obstacle to the lifestyle they want, she said. Mrs. Anderson insists the campaign, a united Ireland, had been developing regardless of the Brexit vote, but says the process had now been hastened. Brexit is going to make matters worse. All of us, no matter what your constitutional preference is, she said. What it has done is it has brought people to realize there cannot be a situation. We have part of Ireland in the EU, and part of Ireland out of the EU. So people who may have been comfortable with the status quo are no longer comfortable with the prospects of what's coming down the tracks. And the natural corollary of that has been the reunification of Ireland. and the debate around that definitely has been accelerated. It is an argument Mrs. Do.As rejects. She welcomed that the EU recognizes the need to deal sensitively and swiftly with the border issue, but made clear that did not require special status. Some have suggested the solution to maintain a free border is having customs and immigration checks between the island of Ireland and Great Britain, rather than between North and South. Mrs. Do.As said that is a red line that cannot be crossed, making clear Unionists would not accept Northern Ireland being treated differently than the rest of the UK. I do not believe it is on the table. I do not believe it is even a possibility, she said. She noted the trade implications of Brexit but stressed the majority of trade in Northern Ireland was with the rest of the UK, not the EU. That fact, she insisted, torpedoes the argument that Brexit made the case for a united Ireland more compelling. All surveys show there is no appetite for a united Ireland, she said. People value their place in the only union that matters, the union with the United Kingdom, and value and protect their place in the fifth largest economy in the world. Why would we want to join economies in Europe that are essentially stagnating? Mr. Nicholson urged Europe not to take sides in the constitutional debate. It would be a monumental mistake by Europe if they go down this road, he said. Europe has been good. They have never taken any sides in the Northern Ireland position, and they have always supported Northern Ireland through the peace programme. And that should not be forgotten, and we should thank Europe for that. But if they want to get involved in Northern Ireland's internal affairs, would be a different matter, and that would be a very serious mistake for them to make. He said he still had concerns how Mrs. May's promised frictionless border could be delivered. If she is not going to be part of the single market and customs union, how is she going to achieve that? He asked. That's the challenge I have put to them, and I have made it very clear I don't want to see a hard border. I think no one in their right senses in Northern Ireland ever wants to see a hard border ever again in any way, shape, size or form. The last one was brought in by the IRA and terrorism. Mr. Nicholson has been a member of the European Parliament for almost 3 decades. He thinks the EU still has a future, despite the unrest caused by the UK's exit. I have seen the EU come through many crises in my 28 years as member of the European Parliament, he said. No one can predict in this modern world that we live in with all its uncertainties and tensions what is going to happen in the future, but no one should underestimate the will of the people of the rest of Europe. Mrs. Anderson's speech in the European Parliament in March, when she made the forthright comments about the Prime Minister and border, certainly made headlines. I don't think anybody should be surprised. An Irish Republican would tell the British Prime Minister who is going to reinforce partition what she can do with it, she said. It certainly did bring attention to the disaster. Is going to come down the track unless we all get together and stop it.